All right. This is our attempt.
Oh yeah. Hey.
Welcome to the 1 month update. Hi guys. So we are here today with a 1 month update, and basically what we want to do is every month give like an update of things that happened, new things that we've experienced, things that we've learned, and especially the first month being new parents. And that's why I wanted Ryan to be on this one too, because I think it's important to hear kind of how the dad's experience was too. I think a lot of people come on here and say all about like the moms, but I think it's important to also talk about what the dads went through too, and like what their adjustment has been.
Yeah.
So that's why Ryan's on here, and we have of course our little Charlie girl on here too.
I think she's looking outside. She likes the sky.
She does. She loves the lights.
Took a few minutes.
Yeah. So yeah.
Hopefully she'll be good. From a first month, what we talked about earlier too is like it would be cool to almost do like every week, at least for us, to kind of capture what we learned that week and what Charlie went through. And
yeah,
I don't know, it's just gonna be a lot of fun.
Like home videos too, like a home video thing. So we definitely want to have more, just honestly, like family vlogs and baby stuff on here. So
yeah, because it can capture her, and it can capture kind of what we went through too. And of course, more focused on her, but
but we kind of just want to talk about what the first month was like, because I think that is a whirlwind of. It's a whirlwind of a bunch of things that you just do not expect. And I think that, you know, you always hear a bunch of things of like, oh, wait till this or wait till that. But I guess we want to talk about just more of like a candid, just like, hey, this is what we experienced, and not to, we don't want to like be like, oh, well, you can't sleep again. Kiss your sleep good night.
You just hear so many things.
Yeah.
Everybody tries to tell you what to expect, and you know, it's funny because then this is going to be one of those videos. But I just feel like for us, it's just trying to say what we learned, not advice, because at the end of the day, every kid's going to be different. Like, what works for Charlie, like this position, I can't hold her like that. I think this video is probably going to be a little disheveled. We might have just various things and memories that we had, because right now she's 7 weeks old, so we're filming this from just, you know, kind of remembering kind of how we felt in the first 4 weeks. Do you want to let's just straight up just talk as soon as the day we left the hospital? Yeah.
I think we were just a little, like, nervous, because of course you have to take care of a new infant. You're like, I hope we're gonna do this right.
We're putting her in the car seat, and we don't even know how to use the car seat. We're like
she's screaming her lungs off,
and we're like, is this right? Is this how you put it in? Is it you put it in? But no, and then she's screaming her head off, and we have to get like the nurse, and we're like, hey, is this right? And she can't tell us how to do it because legally it's kind of against the hospital.
Liability.
It's liability stuff. So we're like, yeah, this is tight enough. This is good. And then we're driving home, and we're like, babe, we have a kid in the back seat.
It was so cool.
That was pretty
And
weird.
it was just so fun to see her in our house, because we've just been waiting for it, and to finally have her home was really cool. I think the hardest time period is the first 2 weeks, I would say. Wouldn't you think so too?
Yeah, I mean, because the first 2 weeks, all right, segment 1. First 2 weeks, cut across the screen. Like the first 2 weeks were us like really trying to get used to adapting from just us to now having her. And it's funny because your priorities just change. Like you just don't think about like, oh, I need to eat, or I need to eat breakfast or lunch.
Yeah, you don't eat.
You don't think about that stuff, and all of a sudden it's just like
3 o'clock and you haven't eaten.
What happens with her? Is she crying? Is she sleeping? Is she okay? Do we need to feed her? Does she need a diaper change? And I think like the first 2 weeks was a lot of just us trying to figure out, I think more so for like us, on how to be like parents too. Like, what do we need to be doing to be able to make sure she's okay? And for each other too. Yeah. Like,
Ryan was dad of the freaking year, because I think as the mom, you have so many hormonal changes happening, and you are all over the place. I mean, you're gonna cry over the silliest things, and you'll cry because you're really happy, and you'll cry because you're like worried, and you're cried because you're like, oh my gosh, is she breathing? Like, you just have so many different thoughts that go through your mind. And Ryan was so supportive and just like so willing to just be like, what do you need? What can I do? What can I do to help? You know, don't worry, very encouraging, and just trying to pump me up because you're just unsure of yourself and if you're doing anything right. I think one of the coolest quotes I've ever heard anyone say is that you cannot mess it up because there is nobody else that's meant to be that mom or dad for your baby besides you.
For the first 2 weeks, I think some of the biggest challenges were, again, just what is the reason for her be crying? What way does she like to be held when she wants to be fed? What way does she want to be consoled? All that type of stuff. And I think your biggest thing was the whole breastfeeding stuff.
Like I honestly, I went into it being just open about it. I want to try it. I wanted to know what it was like because you just always hear about it and you're like, oh, I wonder what it would be like for you to actually do it. At first, I mean, right in the hospital, I mean, was getting colostrum, so that was awesome. For those first two, well, honestly, I breastfed for like almost 3 weeks.
Yeah,
so
3 weeks.
Not very long, but it felt like forever, to be honest, because it was so hard. It was very hard. Breastfeeding is definitely no joke. But my thing was, I think the hardest part of it was I was having enough of a supply, but because I just don't think my latch was really good with her, and I was using the breast shield, like the nipple shield, which is fine, but like, I was using that to help, and she just wasn't on long enough to get what she wanted, and so
That's what we thought, though.
Yeah.
That's what we thought. I think the biggest unknown was that just...
We didn't know.
And breastfeeding is a touchy subject.
Oh yeah, it's very, very opinionated.
So it's not... For what worked for us and what worked for somebody else is going to be completely different.
Yes.
But I think a lot of the concern with breastfeeding is just that you don't know how much they're getting, and what was happening with Charlie is it was like almost every hour and a half, 2 hours, she was waking up. Yeah. It seemed like she was hungry, and maybe that was just us trying to figure out why she was crying.
Yeah.
But at the same time, it was just it's again, you're trying to figure out the baby. You're trying to figure out how to do things as a parent, and for Jordan it was, oh well, she's crying, I need to breastfeed because she might be hungry. And
she would comfort feed on me too.
Yeah.
So like as soon as she got on me, she would stop crying. I just felt like I was constantly feeding her around the clock, and then it just made me feel like, I'm trying to think of it in the best way possible without sounding stupid.
You were a machine.
I was
just at her discretion, you would just like, no matter what it was, but you know,
and like I honestly couldn't go to the bathroom. It was like really hard. It was like, oh my gosh, I have to jump in the shower if I even want to do that.
And I felt bad, and I was like doing my best trying to like cook dinners and stuff like that.
And I think tying in then all the other emotions that you have just with your hormones anyway, and then throw in the fact that you're just stressed and overwhelmed with like, oh my gosh, she's hungry again. Like I thought you were just eating so well, now you're hungry again. Yeah. And like, is she getting enough? Like, is that what it is? Like, and is she on me for so long, but she's actually not eating enough? And then I was like worried that I wasn't doing her justice. Maybe she's just starving. Oh my gosh, I'm starving her. Like all of those thoughts that come into your mind, and all you want is for them to just be happy and fed. And if you feel like you're the reason why they're not, it makes you just then feel even worse.
I think the biggest transformation between those first 4 weeks was really going from like kind of trying to exclusively breastfeed, which is awesome if you can do it.
Yeah,
and it's
no,
awesome
I'm not
if
like
your baby can do it.
Right.
But once we started bottle feeding, it just, for some reason, everything just became less stressful, and she was less stressed out. She felt like she was sleeping longer increments of time, and it was just easier for me and her and our family to feed her, and it just felt like it was just easiest for us. But ultimately what it comes down to is whatever is best for your family. But for the first 4 weeks, I think the biggest transformation was us going from breastfeeding to bottle feeding, because it just made things just a less stressful environment for us, for our family.
And I did in between, because now we're exclusively just formula. Like we just kind of transitioned for other reasons as well, that we can just talk about in the month 2 update. But I was pumping for a good bit too, to try to just give also my breast milk, and that she could still have that through the bottle. But maybe next time around when we have number 2, like I'll feel like I can handle it better. I don't know.
The last thing that I would think we would want to talk about would be just like the scheduling and like her sleep and our sleep, because obviously that's a big topic. Everybody's always like, oh, you're just gonna be a zombie, and it's like I don't know, maybe certain people function on sleep differently. I don't think you or I are really nap people at all through the day. And
during when I was pregnant.
While you were pregnant, but when she was born, we just kind of like, everything was at her schedule. Like we just, when she woke up, we tried to feed her. We tried to change her diaper. It was everything. When she wanted to sleep, she wanted to sleep. When she wanted to wake up, she wanted to wake up. And we just kind of let that go for those 3 to 4 weeks, because
on demand, just whatever she needed.
I mean, that's as best as what we thought we could do, and I think that that's still an okay approach, because it's just like, your baby's going to tell you when they need something. They're going to cry and they're going to do something,
right?
And I think it's funny too, because even though we were waking up every 2 hours a night for, at the beginning it really wasn't that long. She would be awake for like 15-30 minutes, and then she would zonk out again.
Right. The increments between the times she woke up were shorter. Yeah. But I think we were just like,
let it happen.
We were just like, you know what? We're going to be up, so we can't be mad that we're not going to get sleep. And so we just kind of embraced it. And we would like, I remember one night we were literally like just laughing at like 1:30 in the morning, because we were like, we're up. This is what's happening. And she's just up, wide awake. And so we were just like, let's just embrace it. And honestly, I don't really ever remember being like, oh, I'm just so tired. This is the worst. Like even if she was waking up every hour, we were just like,
you just got to do what you got to do. So honestly, when it comes down to it, it was honestly
kind of fun to look back on.
It is kind of fun, but not to mention it's like not as, I don't know, I feel like a lot of people just kind of buy into the bandwagon of like, oh, you're going to be so sleep deprived. And maybe that's because I'm not working and you're not working right now. I'm going back next week, so let's not talk about that.
Yeah.
But at the end of the day, a couple of hours of sleep, I think both you and I were able to function pretty well through the day over.
Yeah.
Of course, we got tired a little earlier, but it's on it. Don't let people try to discourage you from that. It's just, you got to do what you got to do. I think, honestly, for me, the first night was the worst. Because the first night,
well, because I can't get
over the hospital, I was getting up and making sure she was okay, and I was really tired. But after that first night at the hospital, I felt like I was like, all right, this is just the way that it is now.
And as a mom, towards your, honestly, whatever point in your pregnancy, I just I didn't really sleep anyway. Like, I kind of never really had quality sleep anymore. I would just embrace it and not be mad that you're not sleeping, because I think we're going to look back and miss the times where we could just hold her and that she was this young. So we'll get sleep eventually in our life. So a couple of things that we noticed, like development wise, was she was starting to track us and like look at the outside of our bodies, kind of like the contrast between us and like the background.
Yeah.
And then she was really trying to work on kind of lifting up her head and having the head strength. She got much stronger over those 4 weeks, but again, still needing support and everything like that. But she would, go on tummy time and on us and all that. How people say like babies kind of wake up after the first 2 weeks. You kind of saw a little bit of that, but I mean, it's different at this point. But she started to kind of just be a little bit more alert. But yeah, I mean, we just, honestly, the month 1 was a lot of just, I think the biggest thing is just transitions. You're just getting used to your new lifestyle, and it's awesome. It's literally the best thing in the world, and you have bad days, and you have days where you feel overwhelmed, and you just cry, at least for me. But again, they're completely worth it, and you're gonna learn your child, and you'll get used to it, and it all just ends up coming together. Obviously, we're gonna try to do this every month.
I want to do it every week.
Well, that's another video.
Is it?
Yes, this will be something that just comes up every month, and then we're gonna have another type of series.
All right.
That we're gonna start.
Let's figure this out then. My opinion, I think it should be a series right now. I think this is the catch up.
Oh.
This is the catch up.
Okay.
And then the next video is going to be the second catch up, and then it's week by week.
Okay. So why don't you explain it?
All right. So here's the video, guys.
Ryan had a great idea.
So I was thinking that we could do kind of a weekly episode of kind of what we experienced that week and what she experienced in some of her development.
Kind of like a little vlog style kind of thing. Like of just little clips every day.
Yeah, maybe like a vlog of clips, but I think highlighting kind of week by week her development and week by week what we did and that stuff. Just really capturing that type of progression and her. And I think it's a good way for us to capture some home videos with some clips during the week, but also it'll give us something to look back on and be like, hey, I remember in week 11 she
rolled over, which is not gonna happen.
Yeah.
But you know what I'm saying. Or like she went to her first restaurant. I don't know.
So then this video will be the first month catch up.
And it's gonna be a little bit length.
0 to 4 weeks.
It might be a little bit longer than the other ones, but.
And then the next video, since she's 7 weeks right now, will be 4 to 8 weeks.
And then we'll go from there, like
week
every
by week, like kind of episode. And we're trying to figure out what the title will be. We're gonna be like Chasing Charlie.
Why'd you think that's so cute?
Or
maybe
Charlie and Me.
Well, it's not just Charlie and Me.
The Bradfords.
I don't know. Just, hey, if you have a really good idea of like a title of a series, because I think we're like really thinking about Chasing Charlie because that's really cute. But let us know if you think there's something cute that we could do like a title of the series. Okay.
Yeah, so
all right.
so this is kind of our first video, and no, this is terrible. Oh boy.
All right.
So thanks guys for sitting with us on this first episode.
Yeah. Thank you.
We will see you guys on the next one.
Okay. Bye guys.
Bye.